Morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani, and tomorrow is the day that a lot of people have been expecting across the country. We'll be having the governorship and House of Assembly elections. Just looking at the figures, and 1158, that is 1,158 candidates will be vying for the governorship seat in 29 states of the country. And then, as for the House of Assembly members, again, the figures say that 14,643 candidates are going to be vying for 999 positions up and down the Houses of Assembly in the land. INEC is about as prepared as it can be in the circumstances. My guests, Dr. Jide Johnson, Deputy Provost, Nigerian Institute of Journalism. Good morning, sir, as always.
Good morning, Uncle.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Viewers at home.
And Chief Dr. Fasi Yusuf, lawyer and communications consultant. Fasi, good morning.
Good morning, Yori.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Always my pleasure.
All right, then. So, when you look at the figures, I was surprised that, wait a minute, we know, but first of all, there are 19 states, but then the number of parties, and the records say that 1,158, almost, almost 1,200 candidates will be vying for 29 positions. I guess that's the way it is. Of course, it then comes down to the whole question of front runners. But let's take all of that for granted. They've sorted it out. They're approved by INEC, and now INEC has to conduct the election. And then INEC has been very helpful, say that, look, some of the things that were observed, the papers say it this morning, there will be no, just taking one paper, for example, there will be absolutely no certificate of returns if candidates have been declared winners in a fishy kind of manner. In other words, if there's a dispute in the community, I think I like even the way they was put. Any candidates, declared a winner under duress will have a problem because INEC will not issue a certificate of returns. This no doubt refers to some of those untoward scenes that were seen in previous elections, ballot box snatching and all of that. Fasi, would you like to kick off with this? That I don't know, is it drastic measures? But people say drastic measures require drastic remedy. Ailments require drastic
remedy.
Yes.
Yeah, but in this case, I think there's nothing spectacular about it. I mean, nothing obnoxious about it. Mm-hmm. I mean, whatever you obtain under duress will not stand the test of the law, and therefore it's only.
That's INEC's disposition now, but as you know,
it's always been so.
Yes, it has always been so. But the practice,
in practice, it should be so, because if your assumption that you won this particular election, but it is discovered that it was obtained by fraud, mm-hmm. by deceit,
of course,
or by other means that cannot face the test of the law or cannot face the test of equity or justice, then it's only proper that you are not declared the winner. So, like some of the incidents we had last week, a fortnight ago, where somebody said a gun was pointed at him to declare somebody the winner and all that. Of course, you don't expect that to stand the test of time. And you also have a situation where some people are threatened and not dressed. Even in elementary law, if you obtain any statement under duress or promise of a reward or whatever, then it won't be able to stand. So it's only natural that it be stated and restated, and those that are involved or those that could be involved are told the right thing so that they don't think that, power could be might, and power could get them the right result, which is very, very unfortunate.
Indeed. But Jide, it does bear repeating, unfortunately. As Fasi has said, it needs to stand to reason, but in spite of that, it still bears repeating because I think the point was made, has been made consistent in the past that in spite of knowing the right thing, there still will be a few who will insist and go against the grain, actually be swimming upriver.
The reason why every society provides for law and justice and made room for prison is quite indicative of the fact that some people will go against the law. And where there's no law, there's no offense. And as long as you have human beings, you will have people that want to circumvent. The process is not peculiar to race, gender, or color. So I believe that every electoral cycle threw up its own challenge. One of the challenges we have seen in this electoral cycle is the use of violence or force to compel electoral officer to. And if I were in the position of the elector, I would declare the result, because your life is much more important than what is going on. It's only the living that can testify in the court. And like Dr. Fassi said, the testimony of that is a principal witness. Just the testimony of that electoral officer will invalidate whatever election result that. But I think also that for us not to get to that level, I think the new electoral act should address such issues. Issues in the sense that probably there should be a form or a report that it would declare the result, but the result might be invalidated before going to court based on some certain measures or process that we put in place to protect the electoral officer from losing his or her life in the face of danger. And to quickly add this before we move on, today is International Women's Day. So we give a shout out to all our wives, our sisters, our mothers, and our friends, that we wish them the best. You know, a nation without women is not a nation. And that's why they use the feminine gender for a nation.
And also for ships.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. You know,
we can only congratulate the female gender for their support, and that because God knew that a man was incomplete without a woman. That's why he created Eve, and ever since we've been what we are. Without them, life is not worth it. Congratulations to the women folk.
A shout out to our women folk.
It's coming back.
But before we even come back, there's no International Men's Day.
Because we're endangered.
That is why I thought International Men's Day is required.
I don't want to go.
Your
generation can. I don't want to go to that. You are safe to go to that discussion. But for me,
it's okay. It's okay. You know,
we're endangered. We work for them. We work for them. At the end of the day, they will tell you they're going to see their children in the UK, US.
Yes.
They spend 9 months out of 1 year there. I will go with our bowl looking for Mama Put.
It's okay. It's all right.
And that is why some of us believe in polygamy.
It's a women's world after all.
But we want to see a world where women, and now that we're talking about that, where women are vying for many, many more of the positions than is currently the stage.
Elsewhere, they're making waves. You know,
elsewhere they are making waves.
Women rule America, women rule Europe, they rule Asia and other.
So Asia, you know,
even in Africa, it has happened. Liberia,
Sirleaf Johnson,
Zambia, and other.
I think one of the leading states in Nigeria when it comes to the issue of women is Anambra State. If you look at Anambra State as a state, either by default or what have we have had a female acting governor. And presently, if you look at the composition of the executive and the legislature and the judiciary in Anambra State, the women are doing very, very fine.
In Lagos State, there are more women.
Even for example, in the judiciary now, in Lagos, in judiciary, and in many states, women. So,
maybe 70,
so we are doing fine. We are doing fine.
It's just that politics is not for the chicken-hearted.
Aha. But Lagos has always had a progressive attitude about women. You know, it deliberately by policy, you know, wants women to be part of the scene, and and so it actually there will be a sort of a positive discrimination, whether you like it or not. A woman is going to be here.
But sooner than later, I want to have a woman as our governor.
Indeed, as a woman as a governor.
We'll be looking forward to 2023. That's not possible.
Yes.
Okay, so
it's not impossible.
So we've done our shout out to our women folk, and we're talking in the context. Really, it's about the election coming up on Saturday. We will still have to manage. The whole society will be shut down for a couple of hours while we take care of this election. But I suppose we're moving forward, and the important thing is to get a credible election. The president said, following just before the actual presidential election, said nobody should try it because the military would adopt a zero tolerance approach, and there were those who criticized that he had actually said shoot on sight, which hadn't been said, but that was the import of it. Now, in between that kind of a posture, where people have heard that, and now hearing that from the other side, if there's anything untoward at all about what has been declared, it will be, ripped up here at this end. And so it's like taking away as many incentives as possible to think that it's a worthwhile, endeavor because they might get away. What we're saying is that the society seems to be saying, no, we're not. You're not going to be getting away with it. So, okay, let's look at the election tomorrow. What can be expected? I think one of the things that has been said is that the scant appearance in Lagos State of the electorate for the presidential election can be explained, and that it's not going to be that way.
Yeah, because
tomorrow.
The dynamics
I mean, day after tomorrow.
And the dynamics of gubernatorial election, we say politics is local. The dynamic is different. The stakes are higher at gubernatorial level compared to the presidential election. The stakes are higher. Now, if we do an analysis, if we look at the trends in Lagos State, in Ogun State, in Oyo State, if you look at what has been happening politically, the various permutations, the various movements, the various negotiations, the various counter, the various mobilizations, you will know that the stakes are higher, and the turnout for the election, for the gubernatorial election, might be higher than what we have concerning the presidential election, because this election is a bit local and is a bit closer to the people. Don't forget that we'll also be electing people into the State House of Assembly. Now, in the State House of for the last election, it was the presidential election, senatorial election, and House of. In some states, you have a group of 3 or 4 local government being grouped together to produce the House of Rep members. So there's that local connection is not there. But let me use Lagos State for example. And there are 20 local government in the 5th schedule of the Constitution, and there are 40 House of Assembly members and 2 House of Assembly members from each of the local government. So invariably, at least these 40 people will be living in their State House of Assembly constituency. The people know them, so the mobilization will be different. The stakes are higher, and it's different from the presidential election. And we hope we have a very, very peaceful election.
Mm-hmm. But the figure, people who come out to vote, almost 22 million people in Lagos, and at the last election,
6.5 registered voters, and we had just about 21 or 22% turnout.
Yeah. So
it's very appalling.
Very.
And I think something must be wrong with I cannot get the figures right. I don't know what's happening. Something must really be wrong. I mean, getting just 22 or 23% of the registered voters to vote, I mean, that to me, something must be wrong somewhere. Perhaps awareness was not created. Perhaps enough mobilization was not done. Perhaps there was not enough advocacy. Or perhaps there was just general apathy or indifference of people who decided that, look, it's not our business. But then, if you are not voting, you are making it possible for ragamuffins, gutter snipes, to take over the reign of power and for them to superintend over your affairs.
Maybe one could use this opportunity to sort of, appeal to a lot
Electorate.
of people, the electorate, and especially some young people who have gone through the whole procedure of getting hold of their PVC, but are just putting it in their wallet. But putting it in their wallet that, look, I have it in case it is needed, but they don't really have the notion that I'm going to use it in the way that it is intended that it be used.
Some of Lagos voters registered where they are working. Some of them. I'm not providing an excuse, or just trying to analyze and provide justification for a reason why we have. For example, some people registered in VI, and they are living in. These are steps that we need to take moving forward, because when we have election, it's like a lockdown. For our generation, for the younger generation, they might have no witness. Anytime we're having an election, it's like the morning of a coup d'etat. If you have seen, because there's a lockdown. Yeah. Most people never see military soldiers, the mobilization of soldiers in their life before. But during election, you see this deployment and the rest of it. So these are aspects that we need to address. And I think that one, probably electronic voting or using technology, deploying technology to increase, even in civilized democracy, they usually have 51, 52. In fact, in the last 3 electoral cycles in America, they've not crossed over the 50% threshold in terms of the voting population. However, that of Lagos having 21%, because turning out this number is also a factor in politics and administration, because the number you contribute is also a factor who will determine what you get from national election. And I think that there's a need for us to do a lot of voters awareness, voters education, to mobilize people, and then probably we relax some measures that will allow people to move if they have genuine reason to go out and vote on the day of the election.
Yes, it's uncanny as far.
I think it's a general lethargy and a general act of lack of concern on the part of electors towards their civic responsibility. When you talk about the number of people registered outside where they stay, I've tried to do the statistics. It's insignificant.
Okay,
How many people work
in VI and live in Abule, for instance?
See, we look at not up to 200,000. And the 200,000 to 6 million voters, what is the percentage? It is not up to 3%. It's not up to 3%. And therefore, you begin to wonder.
So what exactly?
Have we imported ghost voters? Ghost electorates?
Even when you look at the figures, and these are not exactly the same, but when APC had the need to go, when it's primaries for the governorship in Lagos, they actually were able to call out more APC-only members, voters,
what was the figure claimed then?
I think we were talking about, close to 1 million, if not slightly over 1 million voters.
Is it bringing, for us to do the statistics, if you look at the general election, I think that the parties, now when you have a dysfunctional, let me go to that. When you have a dysfunctional party system, in some states, we don't even know the candidate are contesting this election.
Of course.
Because the courts are still litigating on the matter. Why? As a result of the dysfunctional party system. One of the requirements for you to have a democratic system, democratic society, representative democracy, let me put it, representative democracy is a functional party system. So where the party are dysfunctional, because part and parcel of the responsibility of the party is mobilization. It's not only the job of it, it's mobilization. It's voters awareness, voters mobilization, and the rest of it. If you look at the result which we are talking about, for the presidential primaries, the president was able to poll 14 million votes. For the main election, the president was able to poll 15 million votes. That means that only 1 million people outside of the 14 million that voted for the president in the primaries voted for him in the actual election. Then something is wrong with the party in terms of mobilization. So there is a responsibility on the political parties to play their role even before the election. Mobilization, membership drive. But some of the ways in which some of our parties go about doing their things. They will not open the membership register. Because part of the ways of doing this is for you to do membership drive. You open the party membership register for people to register, and once they become part and parcel of the party, you can encourage them to come out and vote during the election.
Apart from that, they might. I don't know. You're talking about going forward.
Yeah, exactly.
Going forward.
Going forward. Because we must, if you look at it, now we have 84 million registered voters, less than 30 million voted, 15%, 15 million of those 84 million voted for who emerged as, and some of us have argued that democracy is the government of the majority of the minority that participated in the election.
Yeah, that's
a redefining Nigerian brand of democracy.
But it's based on actuality.
Even the America, they still talk about it is gone to 45% as the narrative of Donald Trump's election, that it is gone to 45% of the American about the American voters. So it's some of the things we need to review going forward. Because like Dr. Fassi said, when majority of the people participate in the process, it gives legitimacy to governance. It also prevents some of these issues we have in terms of rigging, in terms of declaring the result under duress. Because when majority of the people, when you know the people are against
and
you,
then the police, they are able to police their votes, and they are able to make sure that their votes count. And again, see, we need to, maybe at the end of the day, we have to review the whole electoral system, especially the laws, when perhaps we are not making full use of electronic transmission. Because, I mean, why should like I said, I don't know whether it was on this program or elsewhere, why should somebody travel all the way from Maiduguri to Abuja
Exactly, because you got
to announce results?
A caller has come in. Good morning. Thank you for calling in.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Akin.
Yeah. I want to contribute to what we are discussing.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Concerning the people. Good morning. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Please continue, Akin. I was nodding because there's a lag.
Is due to the people. The people are not ready to come out to vote. It's not a matter of the matter of the party, but the people are yet to believe in the governance of all these political parties. So you understand? The people are yet to understand the reason why they need to go out and vote. You know, many of the electorate did not believe that these parties are doing something for them.
Okay. So what you're saying is that people, I take what you're saying. People don't believe.
they are disinterested.
They become disinterested because they've been let down by political parties generally. And so I believe that is what Akin is saying, that people have, is it voting fatigue that we can call it now?
Apathy.
It's apathy, upfront apathy. That, look, people just are skeptical. But I don't know. As you said, it's a baffling thing, Fassi.
You see, what is happening now is as a result of money politics.
Money.
The monetization of politics in Nigeria. In the Second Republic, I remember, everybody was mobilized, and you must have a card. You must be a card member, and you must subscribe. You must pay your subscription, your dues as a member. Now, you look for a godfather, political godfather, to bankroll all the expenses of a particular political party. And there's a limit to the mobilization that fellow can do. And not only that, if he gives out if a political godfather releases money, it doesn't trickle down. And therefore, the people you have wanted to be out there to vote will tell you that, look,
We have not
our leaders took money from our godfather. He did not release the money. So why are we going there to queue up? When the money was already collected and it was not distributed along the line. But when politics was such that everybody was involved, your 1 kobo counted, your 1 naira counted, then a lot of people. And that was why people like Awolowo was taken to be a demigod.
Okay.
Because there was mass mobilization. Everybody was involved. Now, someone just give out 5 billion, 1 billion. We are hearing cases of $125 million now that was exchanged, and are now causing some ripples and others. So if somebody could bring out that much, then
where did they get it?
The ordinary electorates will expect that I will have a little of that.
And if
it's not get to it, so why should I just say?
Yakub, thank you for holding on all that while. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, sir. And good morning to Dr. Faz and Dr. DJ Johnson.
Sure.
Both of them went to Niger Delta this morning because of their cap. You see, usually this coming election, I don't have doubt in my mind, as Dr. Jide Johnson said earlier. It's going to be quite different from the presidential election. You know why? Why? Because the people that is going for the election, they were living in the locality. Even though after won the election, we don't used to see them anymore. They will move down to Ikoya and other places. But now they are living within ourselves. And then from yesterday, before yesterday, they are keeping mobilized, especially here in my area. But security, I wanted to say something. You see, last time we are talking about security during the election. You see, that day I called to tell you that we should include Ogun State. Do you know yesterday they fought in Ogun State, especially for local government, and then 2 people got killed yesterday, all because of this coming election. I want to use this opportunity to tell the Nigerian police they should focus on that very particular state, because that place for now it is so volatile to the extent that no one, I repeat, no one can just tell you this is the president that's going to win that election. So thank you and God bless.
Thank you very much, Yakub. Well, it's good to be hearing from the public, that they are seeing what is going on.
There are flashpoints.
That there are flashpoints.
Well, we have all identified that. And it's a function of the dysfunctional party system which we have. You see, Dr. Fassi says something. In the Second Republic, in the First Republic, we had a functional party system. Functional party system in the sense that members contribute their cards. And then, so it's easy for you to do mobilization. But in the Fourth Republic, as we are saying, in some states, we don't even know. After the election, the courts will still declare that the person that was the candidate for the election tomorrow might not likely be because they are pending cases.
But litigation upon litigation.
If we have a functional party system where the parties had their primaries and the primaries was free, it was fair, it was transparent, we wouldn't have issues for this litigation. It will be easier for even the candidates to mobilize the election. Now, in a situation where I don't know whether I'm the gubernatorial candidate or not. Now, let me create an hypothetical situation. Myself and Dr. Fassi, we are both contesting for the governor of a particular state under a party platform.
The president. Okay. He said he was the president.
Okay, president. Now, he's claiming the party has nominated him.
Yes.
And I've gone to court to declare that he's not the validly nominated candidate. So and one court has decided that he's not the lower court, then he approached the upper court. We are not sure who is the candidate. How can we mobilize for the election? So because the party system has a role to play in the survival of democracy, and we have a dysfunctional, we have party system whereby governors and the chairman are fighting, chairman and the members are fighting, NWC across
governors
parties.
and the party chairman fighting.
We're going to go to break. I'm going to quickly go to break.
Okay.
I'll come right back and then we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us, please. Okay, welcome back. Still with Dr. Jide Johnson and Dr. Fassi Yusuf, looking at the elections day after tomorrow. Governorship in 29 states and in the case of the House of Assembly members across the country. 14,600 candidates will be vying for the 991 seats. But we're talking about the elections, and Fassi was just going to come in on it when we had to go to a break. The dysfunctional party, as you refer to it, is causing some of these woes, right?
Honestly, there's a general lack of discipline in the political landscape. Time was when the leadership of the party could chart the direction, could define the compass. But as it is now, money determines the political structure.
Unfortunately.
Very sad. And I've always advocated for a contextual political landscape. We cannot take the democracy of America or import it awesomely, or that of Britain.
Which we often do.
Yes, but we also make a U-turn when it pleases us, which is very sad.
Well, one moment, please. Yes. Let me. Shegun is in his solo. Good morning, Shegun.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Yori.
Thank you for calling in.
I heard the truth is that we were saying why is it that
people are not coming out to vote. And I want you to please tell me, Mr. Yori, to be candid. You see, when people does not have any other place to go or anybody to help them, the only thing they will do is just hold the little they have. This is their power to do. For example, Lagos State. Have you been to Lagos State schools, the public schools? Have you been to Lagos State hospital? Do we have drugs? What exactly are we doing? I just not say. What I just want to tell you is that coming out to vote is not that difficult, but people are not doing anything. The suffering is just too much. And as we have voted now, I'm not a politician. People will still go out tomorrow after the voting. Please use your forum. Let the people benefit. This suffering is too much.
Shegun, will you be voting tomorrow?
By the grace, I'm not a politician like I told you, but by the grace of God helping me, I will be.
All right then.
Go.
All right then.
And you should help us tell his neighbors to vote.
Yeah, you know, but it's a job for all of us, Shegun. I hear you loud and clear. Do your bit around you there.
No.
I'm sure it will pay off. It's something that all of us have to roll up our sleeves about.
Let's get the message of Shegun. He's saying that our leaders, there's a disconnect between the leadership and the led. And that is very sacrosanct. We have to address it. Because our leaders, no sooner they get there, they forget about the people.
Yeah, but part of the problem,
what
follows next,
what follows next is self-aggrandizement.
Well, but part of the point he's also making, I think, and that has been made earlier, is that the power to affect such untoward leadership is being squandered by the apathy that you were speaking about.
He's talking about despondency. That the people are disillusioned because on many occasions they've been disappointed. On many occasions they voted people in there, and on many occasions those who got there, they did something else. At the end of the day, they've been talking about some irrational things, dividends of democracy. What do we mean by the dividends of democracy?
Okay, let's try Shegun in Abuja. We think that was Shegun in Solo. Shegun in Abuja, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for calling in. Go ahead, please.
I just want to contribute to what we are discussing this morning. That most of the parties are not based on ideology. Okay. And when we look at all that is happening...
That's not what we're discussing this morning, but go ahead, please.
It's Jamin.
As I'm looking at now, we are discussing about the problem that people are not coming out to vote, the cause of it.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
I said people, the parties are not formed on ideology. Okay. They are formed by the money banks. And the money controls the people. The money controls the people. And the people doesn't have input in the going forward of the party. That is why people are not coming out to vote. In a situation whereby the idea is relevant in choosing the people that they wanted to vote for, not that someone will stay somewhere and be dictating what will happen to the parties at the grassroots. Bring them along. Sense of belonging matters in forming a political party, and it motivates people to join any party they want, and it mobilizes and give them a confidence to vote for the party they want to vote for or the candidate they want to vote for. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Shegun, for calling in. Well, interesting perspective that there's a disconnect that you were saying. People disconnect because what? It's a fine theory to pursue. It's a fine theory
honestly,
to pursue.
our people have been disappointed.
Okay. As the other Shegun from Isola was saying,
our people have been
go to the hospitals.
Yes.
Go to.
Honestly, I can tell you that I can confirm that to you. That in most, like, was it Abacha that said it? That our hospitals are now mere consulting clinics. Many of the social facilities are not there. And our leaders, by the time they want to commission a borrow, they will tell you they're giving you dividends of democracy. So if there's no democracy, I won't have water to drink or what?
Okay. Reverend Dominic, thank you for calling back in. Good morning.
Good morning, Yari.
Thank
Good
you.
morning, you are wonderful guest.
Yes.
I should go on immediately because there's a delay in network here.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. Let's speak truth to power. Between me and your two guests there, if you put us on spot and say, why should we vote on Saturday? I believe most of us will speak in tongues because we can't point at what we say we have got since 1999. This blaming the party now. Since 1999 till now, can somebody say his life is better, the infrastructure is better? I do a community service almost every day. There's a school around me here, what they call it, a Koto Road. Every day I drove down to that point. I parked around 1-2 to do traffic, control. Who am I controlling? Not vehicles. The children are coming from that school are like up to 5,000. I can't ask myself, how many teachers are taking care of these children in Lagos State? That you come to school, it's like a refugee camp. What kind of governance is that? I want to disagree with the former governor of Lagos State yesterday. When he was saying that the other party was saying they're going to put 50% to budget to education.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dominic. I got the point you were making. We lost Dominic there, but he did get through that.
Some of the issues Yakub raised, Shegun in Lagos, Shegun in Abuja raised are very, very valid. Valid in the sense that, you see, the party system structure we have from 1999 to date is alien to what we have had in the past, whereby you allow the people. That's why we have seen the level.
You're talking about the distant past.
Yeah.
Because when you say in the past,
1999 today, we are talking about what we have in
You're talking about
79, what we have in the First Republic, what we even have under Babangida's administration, and the two-party system, SDP, NLC. Now there's a disconnect. Exactly. People had a sense of belonging in the party system. Look, they had a sense of belonging. In the present party system structure, the people don't have a sense. Let me give you a look at it is whatever they tell us at the top, and it is killing as a Lagosian. I'm a Lagosian. Politics is a game of number. I was not happy with what we contributed as a Lagosian. We have 6 million votes, and we had less than 21%. What we contributed into the national electoral pulse, that we couldn't get up to 3-4 million votes, regardless of whichever party is going to, that we have at least 4 million people coming out to vote. It gives my state as an entity, that for me to say we had 4 million votes in Lagos State. So you can't toy with us. Any electoral cycle, you must discuss with us in Lagos, because we have this vote.
You can't make such an assertion.
And part of it is the dysfunctional parties. I can tell you that most of the people that are picked across parties, I can tell you of my own constituency, they are not popular within their local constituency. There's a disconnect because most of the things come from the top, but you can't have development in democracy because it comes from the grassroots.
Okay, from the bottom up.
Exactly.
Ade in the UK, thank you for holding on. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Chief Yorin. How are you today?
Good morning, sir. Thank you for coming in.
Yes, I really love you because if there's anything more than higher chief, I'll give you.
Okay. It will become part 2 of our.
My contribution is this.
Yes.
My worry in Nigeria is about, I feel sorry for people who queue up to vote, because my worry in Nigeria is about the judiciary. You see, after people labor to vote and put someone in, and people will go to court and buy judgment and turn over people who have suffered in the sun to vote for someone. This worries my heart, seriously, because the judiciary, if care is not taken, is the problem of Nigeria. Nothing more, not the police, nobody. And I won't mention any name, but there's one man in Nigeria today who I think he can get anything he wants from the South, who is a governor, who has a connection to the Supreme Court. It cannot happen in Europe. When they see that you are a judge of the Supreme Court, your husband is active member of a political party, and that judge will either step down, But today, look at what is happening. I'm worried. I'm worried about Nigeria judiciary. Because if I'm in Nigeria, I won't go and queue up, except the Boko Kole. If not in Kole, then I won't vote. Because I know that Kole will be my own portion. But in this offer to vote for someone, at the end of the day, you go to the Supreme Court, they overturn it with maybe $500,000. God bless Nigeria.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you very much. There seems to be a lot of talk about the disconnect between the people and the parties,
I've said this,
which has led to apathy at the voting.
I've said it a couple of times, and again, the whole structure, to my mind, is to my mind, turning my head upside down. Because, like that guy said, it was in this country, my own country, that a former governor got an injunction, perpetual injunction, not to be probed, not to be investigated, not to be charged to any court, not to be prosecuted. There was no appeal from the authorities, and that guy is still in Nigeria. And somehow the spouse found a way to the Supreme Court of the land. And so many of our governors, they make sure that they put their spouses in the judiciary. Something must be wrong. And it's only in this country again that you have 90-something political parties.
Yeah.
When we don't need more than 2, 3, 4 political
Matthias
parties.
in Jos, good morning. I beg your pardon, in Kaduna. Matthias in Kaduna, good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm calling from Kaduna.
Please go ahead, Matthias. Thank you for calling in.
You're doing a very nice job. I like watching this program.
You're very kind. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a contribution from our party.
Okay.
I live in Kaduna. As you know, it's very clear that Kaduna is divided into the southern part and the northern part. Religious is divided themselves. But this last year, a lot of people couldn't get that. See, personally, start before, I couldn't get it here. People start the north more polling centers, and people troop in mass. In fact, last election, if you go out to vote, you will see people bringing out their cards. But by the time the election result came out, it was civil. I funded people to go and vote. But by the time we got there, what we got was it was a complete caricature. So if you are telling us to come out now on Saturday to go and vote, the result is already predetermined. We know it's going to go in a certain way. People are intimidated. You cannot, if you register outside your zone and are trying to go and vote.
Matthias, there are those that will disagree with that part of what you are saying, that the result is already predetermined.
Yes.
Well, as I was saying, there are many that will disagree. I mean, there are also some that might see it your way, and you're welcome to the impression. But this is what INEC is supposed to be standing against, or the opposite is what INEC is supposed to be standing for. That we can't have. We've passed that stage. Hopefully, we've passed that stage where elections results are predetermined and we just go through the motions to sort of, as it were, work to the answer. There were many who say, no, if at all we were ever at that stage, we've gone past that stage. But thank you, Matthias, for calling in. He makes a grievous charge, and perhaps he makes it not entirely out of the air, but probably based on what has happened in a certain niche that he has seen. I'm just guessing that Matthias, having seen what he has seen, be extrapolating that a bit unfairly on the entire policy.
Example. I went out to vote in my ward, which is a polling unit, and there are 44 polling units in my ward. And there was violence in one polling unit. And then the result got to the local government collation center, and the EO, the electoral officer of the local government, now rendered the entire votes of my ward. There are a lot of issues we will need to address after this electoral cycle.
Yes.
There are a lot of issues. That is enough to to make people
to discourage
be,
anybody,
to discourage them to become despondent about the entire process.
Yes.
We've seen from the result that have been declared that 100,000 votes, 10,000 votes nullified by one because there was violence in a particular place. What measures with the military we have deployed, with the police we have deployed, what measures are we putting in place to forestall or to prevent such occurrences? If we look at with the ear of authority, the IG we spoke, the ear of authority, the chief of army staff spoke, then you begin to wonder the pockets of violence we have all across Nigeria, what's happening? So that's enough to dissuade people from going out to vote. And these are the issues that we need to address.
Indeed, and that speaks to what INEC has said, that there will be no certificate of
issue
return
under duress
where there are
force us
issues
to do
under duress.
Under duress.
So that at least is different.
At least addressing, taking steps to address the failures of the last election, or
and
the shortcomings.
Indeed, and that we said at the top of the program, it was pathetic that this needed to be said. Mazi over in Abia. Good morning, sir.
Mazi in Aruchuku, Abia State. Good morning, sir. Good morning, I guess our professor in the studio.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Honestly, we are in a country where people go to newspaper stand, and the analysis is more than the people in the studio and the television and the radio house. Because when you go to a newspaper stand, the analysis you see there, sometimes it will result to an exchange of blows. That's Nigeria for you. Honestly, I'm very happy with the last statement you just made, what the INEC said, that not to look at to anybody that created problem. Like that what happened in Imo State, because the professors, the action he showed that the man was just a sort of that is question mark. But my own answer is that for Nigeria, in as much as election has come, after tomorrow, we say the bye-bye to 2019 election, people should go out and vote. Yeah. Because situation whereby people sit down in the beer parlor or sit down in their own room and in the coupon place and start analyzing election, which they did not even go to participate, it's not healthy. And my own question is this: these our youth, what is their future?
Oh dear. Just as he was about to state his own question, but at least the part that he got out there is that people should find a way to override the apathy that has been identified.
And the other point he was trying to make was that what is the future for our youth? And I think that is a fundamental question. And our politicians must give us a blueprint of their plan for the youth of this country. Because
it is politicians that must do that.
No, our political leaders now.
Public policies.
Yes.
It's their responsibility.
Responsibility. You know, Omoyele Sowore and his group, they have this thing about taking it back, that nobody is going to hand you your rights the way things go. So politically, you got to use the rules to take it. And if you're expecting people to come and do what you've just said, that is, and now let's find out a positive, let's craft a policy that is going to put the youths in where they need to be able to take over. They say it's not going to happen.
Can we have a system? For example, now, what is preventing the education bank from taking off? What is preventing the education bank from taking off? What is preventing the youth from realizing their potentials? It is because the policies of government are not encouraging the youth to unleash their potentials.
So that's why they say they have to make their own by first of all getting into office.
They don't have to get to office. You don't have to become president. Just imagine a situation. Let me create an hypothetical.
Let me quickly come back to you, Jide. Let me bring in Godwin, who is in Edo State. I'll come straight back to you. Good morning, Godwin in Edo State.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, and I'm very grateful to what I'm saying today, coming to the public, to allow the public to actually contribute to what is happening in Nigeria today. Yeah, going to election is a good thing for the people, but at the time you now see what is happening to the common people who have the power to put people in the government, that they are well disconnected with the people and the candidates. It's a tough issue that the Nigerian government need to look into. For example, you live close to somebody that you know who is a candidate today, or before this dispensation, that he has nothing. Suddenly he comes into power. The next thing he fight for always his stomach and the people surrounding his family, and how he can place his family back to power when he leaves power. How do you expect a common man to come out to hold that person into integrity and say, let me go and vote for such person? Today, look at some few people that you see, the few candidates we are seeing today, that is in the government today, like the Delta State governor, they are calling master of all roads. People will have, if you have one particular project you have told the people that this is what you want to do when you come into power. I expect that candidate to vote with integrity, to carry the people and say, yes, if it is only these items, like this infrastructure I'm going to handle through us, he should be able to do it.
Yeah.
And let people know that, yes, when he was there, all this infrastructure we have, if God one has not done what you have in Lagos today, we won't have had Lagos.
Okay.
Today, look at where we are facing.
All right.
You come and when you don't have 10 kobo, you don't have anything before you come into power. Tomorrow you have 1 billion that you can line up the whole Nigeria and be giving them 1 million when you don't have $20 in your account before, and you expect Nigeria to come out and vote for you. So the common people are well disconnected from the present government, present dispensation. So they need to look into it and see how they can work it out and hold to their integrity to be able to say, this is what we want to do. And you will carry that.
All
so
right. Thank you very much. Godwin, thank you very much. Appreciate your calling in. Jide, following with Godwin's theme, and I had referred to Showore, for example, as one of the new guys, and they are talking about needing to take it back. And we've heard this before. Again and again and again, INEC people have said to us that the problems that we're facing, largely politicians themselves are part of those problems. So we've heard this before. Now, first of all, maybe can you just return to the to your train of thought about not agreeing with this whole matter about taking it back, maybe waiting for people to come and serve it to you. Say, here are your rights.
Okay,
here, so you can enjoy them.
Going back to Arochukwu's
Mazi Okoro
concerning the future for the youth. In the last 22 years, I've had cause to work with this age group, 16 to 25. In the last 20 years, I've had every cycle, and I tell you, he asks the question, what's the future for them? The future is bleak. You need to come across this set of people. There are issues that most of us are closing our eyes on. We are investing in roads. We are not investing in people. Like Dr. Fazi said, what happens to the educational fund? In other climes, they invest. I'm coming. They invest in people. In what way? No. There is a saying in my local dialect, Omotato lumagbilita kota. A child you do not train will sell the house. If you build all the infrastructure and you don't train the people, like my pastor said, if you take all Nigerians, you take them to America to live, and you bring all Americans to live in Nigeria, he said in 10 years' time, Nigeria will look like America, and America will look like Nigeria. So it is making investment, and the present structure we have, we are not making investment in people.
So you're saying that you're waiting for a political dispensation that will indeed look where it should be looking, at the future tomorrow,
let me quickly add this and allow Kwasi to say something.
Sorry, sir. So, gentlemen, I'm remiss. Well, okay. Sorry, Lukman in Kaduna.
The time is fast spent. Let it be said that, look, the Jews are not being integrated into governance. And they are not part of what the government, either federal, state, or local ones are thinking about. And if they continue with that, I say, let us beware of our offspring.
Okay. Maybe just 10 seconds, Jide, I'm afraid.
We just appeal to our viewers at home. Please go out and vote. Your vote is your power. You have a responsibility. Change does not happen in a day. It's a process, and part of the process is for you to go out and vote.
And there should be amalgamation of political parties.
Thank you very much, Chief Dr. Fazi Yusuf, and also Dr. Jide Johnson. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you, Chief Dr. Chief.
Very soon, Patrioba.
So that's our program. Thank you for being with us. Please join us on Monday for the next edition. I'll go out and vote tomorrow and have a great weekend.
The governor of Lagos.
Indeed. Okay, bye-bye for now.